What if your next drink could help control your blood sugar better than plain water? It might sound surprising, but certain everyday beverages, when chosen carefully, can actually improve how your body handles glucose. In fact, with over 96 million American adults dealing with prediabetes, and many more struggling to stabilize their energy throughout the day, what you drink has never been more important. We often talk about what not to eat for blood sugar. Too much bread, sweets, and processed snacks. But we rarely talk about what we drink. Yet for many people, sugary drinks, energy boosters, and even healthy smoothies sneak in more sugar than a dessert. The truth is, swapping out just one sugary drink a day could make a massive difference. But here's the part most people miss: while water is essential, it keeps us hydrated and helps flush out excess glucose, it's not the only option. In fact, some drinks go a step further. They support insulin sensitivity, slow glucose absorption, and reduce blood sugar spikes after meals. And in today's video, we'll reveal 3 of the most powerful ones, plus one you may not expect. Ready to rethink your cup? Water. Let's start with the foundation: plain water. It might not be flashy, but water is a silent partner in blood sugar control. Every cell in your body depends on hydration. And when it comes to glucose, water plays 2 crucial roles. First, it helps your kidneys flush out excess sugar through urine. This is especially important when blood sugar levels run high. Your body needs to get rid of that surplus. Without enough water, the filtering system slows down, and glucose stays in the bloodstream longer than it should. Second, staying hydrated supports better insulin function. When you're even mildly dehydrated, your body can release more of the stress hormone cortisol, which, in turn, raises blood sugar. Think of it like this: without enough water, your body acts as if it's under pressure, even if you're just sitting still. There's also the behavioral benefit. Many people confuse thirst with hunger and reach for a snack instead of a glass of water. That extra handful of crackers or sugary treat adds up, especially for those already struggling with insulin resistance. Simply sipping more water throughout the day can curb those impulses and help you make clearer food choices. But here's where it gets interesting. While water is critical, it doesn't actively lower blood sugar or enhance insulin sensitivity the way certain other drinks can. It's more of a supporter than a healer. That's why, in the next section, we'll explore a drink that does much more than hydrate. It fights inflammation, improves metabolism, and may even delay the onset of type 2 diabetes. Let's pour our next cup. Unsweetened tea. If water lays the foundation, tea builds the structure. Unsweetened green, black, and oolong teas are some of the most powerful natural tools for balancing blood sugar, and they've been used in traditional medicine for centuries. What makes tea so effective? It comes down to polyphenols, natural compounds with strong antioxidant effects. In green tea, the star polyphenol is EGCG, or epigallocatechin gallate. This compound has been shown in multiple studies to enhance insulin sensitivity and reduce blood glucose levels, particularly after meals. In other words, drinking green tea with or after food can help your body respond more efficiently to the sugar in your bloodstream. Black and oolong teas, though processed differently, offer similar benefits through other compounds like theaflavins and theorubigins. These have been linked to reduced inflammation and improved metabolism, 2 factors deeply tied to how well your body regulates glucose. One Japanese study followed thousands of adults over a 10-year span and found that those who drank green tea regularly had a significantly lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Another study showed that drinking just 3 cups a day of oolong tea helped lower fasting blood sugar in people with diabetes. But here's the part. Most people miss the benefit disappears once you add sugar or sweetened milk. A teaspoon here, a splash there. It adds up, and it counteracts the very insulin benefits you're trying to gain. If plain tea is too bitter for your taste, try adding a slice of lemon or a dash of cinnamon instead. Both can enhance flavor and bring their own blood sugar-friendly perks. So whether you choose green, black, or oolong, the key is to keep it simple and sip it regularly. Think of unsweetened tea as a metabolic assistant. It doesn't just hydrate, it activates. And speaking of activation, there's one drink that boosts energy, focus, and blood sugar metabolism when used correctly. And yes, you probably already have it in your kitchen. Let's talk about coffee. Black coffee. Coffee is one of the most consumed beverages in the world. And for good reason. It wakes us up, sharpens our focus, and can feel like a ritual of comfort. But there's something else coffee does that most people overlook. It can help regulate blood sugar, if you drink it the right way. The main active compounds in black coffee are polyphenols, especially chlorogenic acids. These antioxidants slow the release of glucose into the bloodstream after a meal, helping to prevent those sharp sugar spikes that lead to energy crashes and cravings. They also appear to reduce the absorption of carbohydrates in the gut and improve how the body uses insulin. Multiple studies have linked regular coffee consumption, about 3 to 4 cups per day, with a reduced risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Interestingly, this benefit is seen with both caffeinated and decaf coffee, suggesting that it's not the caffeine, but the polyphenols doing the heavy lifting. However, there's a catch. The benefits only hold up when coffee is consumed black or with minimal, unsweetened additions. Once you start adding sugar, flavored syrups, sweetened creamers, or whipped toppings, it transforms into a dessert in a cup and a blood sugar bomb. A medium-sized flavored latte from a coffee shop can contain as much sugar as 2 donuts. Also, be mindful of how coffee affects your body. Some people experience a cortisol surge from caffeine, especially when consumed on an empty stomach or in large amounts. Since cortisol can temporarily raise blood sugar, it's best to pair your morning coffee with food and limit consumption in the afternoon to avoid sleep disruptions, which can also affect glucose regulation. So if you love coffee, good news. You don't have to give it up. Just keep it simple, sip it with a meal, and avoid the sugar trap. That way, your favorite morning brew becomes a health ally, not a hidden threat. Now, we've talked about tea and coffee, but there's one more drink that often flies under the radar. It's creamy, rich in protein, and full of friendly bacteria that might actually help lower blood sugar. Let's take a closer look. Dairy or fermented milk. When most people think about blood sugar management, they don't think about dairy. But that glass of milk or cup of kefir in your fridge might be more helpful than you realize. Let's start with milk. Plain, unsweetened milk, whether whole or low fat, contains a combination of proteins whey and casein. These proteins slow down the digestion of carbohydrates, which helps prevent sudden spikes in blood glucose. In fact, studies show that when milk is consumed alongside high glycemic foods, it blunts the post-meal blood sugar response more effectively than water or juice. Milk also contains natural sugars in the form of lactose. But because of the protein and fat it includes, it digests more slowly, giving your body more time to respond. The key, of course, is choosing milk that isn't sweetened or flavored. Chocolate milk, for example, can contain up to 25 grams of added sugar per cup, more than enough to tip the balance in the wrong direction. Now let's talk about kefir. This fermented milk drink is not only high in protein, but also packed with probiotics, beneficial bacteria that support gut health. And here's the part. Most people miss. Emerging research suggests that gut bacteria play a role in blood sugar control. One small clinical trial showed that people with type 2 diabetes who drank kefir daily saw improvements in fasting blood glucose and A1C levels over several weeks. The probiotics in kefir may help by reducing inflammation and improving insulin sensitivity, especially in those with imbalanced gut flora. It's like giving your metabolism a subtle, supportive nudge in the right direction. That said, kefir does have a tangy flavor that might take some getting used to. Start with just a half cup a day, ideally with or after a meal. And make sure you're choosing unsweetened varieties to avoid counteracting its benefits. So while dairy might not be the first drink that comes to mind for blood sugar balance, it deserves a place on the list, especially if you're looking for variety beyond tea or coffee. Now that we've covered what to drink, let's turn to the flip side. What you might be sipping every day that could be quietly sabotaging your blood sugar. Drinks to avoid. For every drink that supports blood sugar, there's another that silently works against it. And unfortunately, many of these bad actors are marketed as healthy or at least harmless. But when you look closer, the evidence is clear. Some popular beverages are among the biggest culprits in driving insulin resistance and metabolic decline. Let's start with one of the most common traps: fruit juice. Even 100% natural juice contains a high concentration of fructose and glucose without the fiber of the whole fruit. This means the sugar hits your bloodstream fast, causing a sharp rise in blood glucose. A single glass of orange juice can contain more sugar than a can of soda. For people trying to manage their blood sugar, juice is best avoided or consumed only in small, diluted portions. Next, there's flavored coffee drinks. That seasonal pumpkin spice latte or mocha may sound festive, but they often contain 30 to 50 grams of sugar, more than a slice of cake. Add whipped cream, flavored syrups, and caramel drizzle, and what began as a cup of coffee turns into a metabolic minefield. Sports drinks and energy drinks are another hidden danger. Marketed for hydration and performance, they often contain as much sugar as soda, plus artificial colors and chemicals that provide no benefit to blood sugar regulation. Even zero-calorie versions can be problematic. Some studies suggest that artificial sweeteners found in diet sodas may interfere with gut bacteria and insulin response, leading to long-term issues despite the low calorie count. Then there's alcohol. While an occasional glass of red wine might have antioxidant benefits, most alcoholic drinks, especially cocktails, sweet wines, and beers, can disrupt blood sugar balance. Alcohol can initially lower glucose levels, but over time it impairs liver function and insulin regulation, especially when consumed in excess. What's particularly concerning is that many of these drinks are part of daily routines. Morning juice, afternoon energy drinks, or a nightly glass of wine all seem small on their own. But over time, they add up, and they can undo the progress made from otherwise healthy meals or exercise habits. So here's the takeaway: being mindful of what not to drink is just as important as choosing the right ones. One smart swap: say, replacing juice with tea or soda with kefir can help your body better regulate blood sugar. reduce cravings, and support long-term metabolic health. Now, let's shift from science to something more personal. Because nothing makes these lessons hit home like a real story of change. Let me tell you about Robert, a 62-year-old retired school counselor from Ohio. A few years ago, he began noticing something troubling. He'd crash hard in the afternoons. Not just a little tired, but completely wiped out. His doctor ordered some blood work, and the results showed borderline prediabetes. His fasting blood sugar was creeping higher, and so was his A1C. Robert thought he ate pretty healthy. But during a follow-up with a nutritionist, one detail stood out every morning. He drank fruit juice with breakfast, had a flavored coffee from a drive-thru by 10 a.m., and often sipped sweet tea throughout the day. The drinks seemed harmless, but they were silently stacking sugar into his system, spiking his glucose, and contributing to those crushing afternoon crashes. At the nutritionist's suggestion, he made 3 simple swaps: water with lemon in the morning, black coffee with a sprinkle of cinnamon, and unsweetened green tea after lunch. He also began drinking kefir with dinner, which surprised him. It not only helped with digestion, but he started sleeping better. Within 6 weeks, Robert noticed a huge change. No more energy roller coasters. His focus improved, and his follow-up lab results were significantly better. His fasting blood sugar dropped 12 points, and his A1C returned to a safer range. "I didn't even realize drinks could do this much," he said. "I always thought it was just about cutting carbs or walking more. But now, I pay attention to what I sip, because that was the missing piece." Robert's story is not unique. Across the country, people are discovering how small changes in their drink choices can lead to big improvements in energy, mood, and blood sugar balance. And now, it's your turn. We often look for big solutions, new diets, expensive supplements, complex routines. But sometimes, the answer is in your cup. Every drink you choose is an opportunity to support your blood sugar, stabilize your energy, and take better care of your body. Let's recap the 3 most powerful drinks for blood sugar control: unsweetened tea like green, black, or oolong packed with antioxidants that improve insulin sensitivity and reduce glucose spikes. Black coffee, rich in polyphenols, especially when enjoyed without sugar or heavy creamers. Milk and kefir, offering a balanced mix of protein and probiotics that slow digestion and support your gut. We also highlighted the silent dangers: fruit juices, sweetened coffee, energy drinks, alcohol, that seem harmless but can throw your system off balance. And then there's water, your reliable baseline. It may not be fancy, but staying hydrated helps everything else work better, including your metabolism. So here's your simple challenge over the next few days. Take a close look at what you're drinking. Swap one sugary option for tea or black coffee. Add a little kefir after a meal. Drink more water with intention. Notice how your body responds. These aren't radical changes, but as Robert's story shows, they can lead to powerful results: more stable energy, better lab numbers, and a deeper sense of control over your health. If this message helped you, share it with someone you care about: a friend, a parent, a coworker who's always tired after lunch. You never know whose life might change just by learning what to sip. Because sometimes, better health isn't about what you give up. It's about what you choose to hold in your hands, one drink at a time.